Welcome to a virtual lab tour of Applied Computer Vision at the Department of Computer Science, Durham University, hosted by myself, Professor Toby Brecken. It's my pleasure to introduce our research lab, where we tackle the challenges of computer vision, i.e. making computers see. Today I'm going to give you a virtual tour of the key research topics that are tackled within the lab, both by myself and my team. All aspects of our research work essentially consider the development of algorithms. And in our lab, we're specifically interested in the development of algorithms for processing visual information from a wide range of sources, as you'll see today in this video presentation. The first research theme I want to talk about is automated visual surveillance. This is the task of automatically monitoring the wide range of CCTV feeds which secure the environment in which we all live. Working with partners, we've considered this aspect using thermal imaging as a sensing technology. This allows us to perform automatic monitoring of CCTV both day and night, and under a wide range of different weather conditions. In this example, we see a thermal image feed from the rear of the department. We see two individuals approach and be automatically detected by our detection algorithms as people. Alternatively, maybe we might see some vehicles or some animals at this particular time of night. On the left-hand side of the screen here, you can see that their tracked position has been automatically picked up. And using photogrammetry, we can actually recover their position within the environment and report this as a GPS location relative to the camera. Based on this information, we're interested in addressing what people are up to and where they are within the environment overall. We can plug this together with some more advanced functionality to consider automatic behavior analysis. For example, once we've detected this as a person and we've tracked their position, we can analyze the underlying visual features from this person, and therefore we can pick up what they're doing. The example shown here, climbing up within the scene. A related task also considers wide area search or automated wide area search using technologies such as autonomous and semi-autonomous drones. Here we're particularly interested in how this type of technology can be further automated to process all of the information that's sent back to assist the operator in their overall search mission. One of the key challenges we look at is a problem known as looking through the drinking straw. This relates to the idea that we have lots of images of the environment, all of which contain very high quality information, but only give us very, very small coverage of the overall environment of which we're trying to achieve what would be called situational awareness. By combining different aspects of computer science, we can take this incoming video or image feed and essentially stitch it all together into a large real-time mosaic. What we're doing here is performing real-time feature matching between each of the images coming from the drone, and then subsequently we're resolving the geometry between each of the positions using advanced computational geometry in order to be able to render these all together, finally using computer graphics. What we can essentially present as an output is a real-time map of the environment, from which we can inlay the incoming video information shown here at the bottom in red, and giving a greater overall situational awareness for the operator within their task. Considering other aspects of drone deployment, we've also been looking at the use of reinforcement learning to allow drones to automatically learn suitable behavior for wide area search in complex environments, such as flying through a forest. Here you can see an example of one of our drones flying through a high-fidelity simulator in which we can essentially train the drone based on a reward function to learn suitable behaviour for effective wide area search. Another aspect of our work considers future vehicle autonomy, also more commonly known as driverless cars. In this area, we consider a range of different sensing platforms which we have on our test platforms here at Durham. One of these aspects considers stereo vision, where we use two cameras on the vehicle to recover scene depth information. In this video sequence, we can see the incoming left and right video feeds from the camera pair in the same way that we have two eyes in our own head, and from this we can actually computationally recover the distance of each and every pixel, which is shown in the grayscale image on the right hand side of the slide. What we're seeing here is that in real time we can automatically determine the distance of every pixel in the pair of images, and hence from that we can have an understanding of the geometry of the environment, what is where, such that we can use this in tasks like automatic vehicle guidance, obstacle avoidance, and alike. Another sensing technology we use is that of LiDAR, so that's laser-based distance and ranging information. If we consider our test vehicle here, driving through the car park at Durham, we've got a LiDAR unit on the top of this, and what we can then do is consider how we can automatically map out the environment based on a localization algorithm. If we zoom in, we can see all of the 3D points being returned by the LiDAR unit. Based on this information, we can localize the vehicle in the environment. By that I mean we know where the environment is, where the vehicle is very precisely, beyond the precision of standard GPS. This relates to the key problem in autonomous driving of where am I, which also has a similar partner in understanding the scene in terms of the question of what is around me. These are the two key algorithmic questions which we look to address in all autonomous driving based research. Combining these together, we can also look at more advanced features. For example, here we consider the incoming stereo feed from the left and right cameras. We can pull all of this together based on a odometry algorithm to essentially localize the vehicle as it transits through the environment. From that we can work out the distance, the differences between each of the 3D stereo images, and identify the dynamic and also the dynamic objects in the scene and also the scene background. Scene background, very good for localization. Where am I? Dynamic objects, of course, very important for understanding the question of what is around me. Another example here where we do the same thing as we approach a roundabout in Durham. We're doing again the disparity difference from the 3D stereo information to isolate both the background information and the dynamic foreground objects within the scene. More generally, we can also consider how we might use a number of these different technologies together. What we see here is as we transit the environment on this test sequence, we're picking up the orientation of all the vehicles using a deep machine learning technique. This recovers not just where each individual vehicle is, but also its orientation relative to the autonomous vehicle as it drives through the environment. The bottom left here, you can see the corresponding LiDAR view, and we also have the map view here from GPS on the lower right. As we approach the junction, you can see the importance of the relative angle of each of these vehicles as they turn towards us, and the vehicle that we're on essentially automatically understanding the behavior of those vehicles within the environment. All of this is essentially performed algorithmically based on incoming visual sensor information. It relates more broadly to the challenges of object recognition in general. In this example, what we can see is our ability to detect a range of different objects within the scene. Vehicles, street furniture, lampposts, road markings. We can also determine the colour characteristics and also the behaviour characteristics of vehicles, and also the distance of all of these objects based on stereo vision as we drive through this particular environment. All of this processing, of course, has to be performed with a very high degree of reliability, and also has to be performed in real time on board the vehicle, so that we can essentially make this information available to the control system of the vehicle essentially in enough time to matter, to allow it to make effective decisions about the environment with which it's currently driving through. Moving off-road, we also consider the challenges of understanding the off-road environment, such that modern off-road vehicles can essentially be optimised both for the terrain that they're currently crossing, but also the terrain that's coming up ahead of them. In this video sequence taken on the Gaydon test track down at Jaguar Land Rover's facility in Warwickshire, we can see an inset of the segmented view of the environment that is produced from a deep convolutional neural network. Each of the colours correspond to a different type of terrain, and what we're seeing is essentially that the onboard processing is able to understand the environment in real time. This information about the different terrain which the vehicle is currently transiting, and also the different terrain that's coming up ahead, can then be used to automatically adjust the various aspects of the traction system on board, both to improve the performance of the vehicle as it goes through the environment, but also to maximise the comfort of both the driver and the passengers in a modern 4x4 vehicle. Another aspect of our research also considers future aviation security and how we can apply modern aspects of computer vision algorithms using machine learning to some of the challenges of aviation security, an aspect which we all have come to rely on in our global travels. In this area, working with partners, we're looking at how we can automate the detection of a number of contraband items and also restricted items, both in hand luggage and also in hold luggage. In this work, we can essentially use deep machine learning for the automatic detection of both firearms, large electronics, concealed weapons, and also other aspects of items which are prohibited for taking on flights. More broadly, we're also looking at how this can be applied in X-ray imagery, not just for looking at prohibited items, but also looking for the detection of anomalies or concealments within electronic items. So, for example, something that's concealed within a laptop. In this work, we're looking at how essentially we can consider all of these items being kept within bags as passengers go through airport security, as opposed to having to divest them. What we're looking at is how, if we take an X-ray image of a bag containing a laptop, we can automatically segment out the laptop and then analyse each part of it to pick up the normal and potentially abnormal parts within that may then require further screening by a human operator. In this way, we target essentially future aviation security and being able to avoid this divestment of large electronics and other items at the checkpoint. In addition to considering regular two-dimensional X-ray that you may have seen at your local airport, we also consider the aspects of the use of 3D CT imagery, which is coming to all airports within the next few years. In this way, bags, both hold bags and also carry-on luggage, will essentially be scanned in complete 3D. We're currently working with a range of partners to expand our detection algorithms into this type of imagery, and also we provide a unique capability which is able to insert items into this imagery as needed for training purposes. In this area, as a research group, we currently have an algorithm deployed globally, securing millions of passenger journeys every year. There aren't many research groups that are able to claim such global impact with their research in this area. All of our research themes essentially also inform our research-led teaching at Durham. Everything we do within the team essentially also informs the teaching that we do in computer vision, both in the undergraduate programme and also in the final undergraduate dissertation undertaken by students. In recent years, we've looked at real-time object detection and distance ranging as a computer science coursework in third year. In this instance, the students were tasked with being able to automatically detect objects in driving scenes through Durham, and also algorithmically determine the distance of those objects as their vehicle drives through the city. In this example, we can see some work from one of the students on the left-hand side, the detected objects using a deep machine learning algorithm. On the right-hand side, we see a processed version of the depth map, which we got from the stereo vehicle on the camera, that's been enhanced by the student in this instance, and is then processed to provide the distance to each of the objects, which would then, of course, inform any control system on a future autonomous vehicle. A related assignment also considered visual odometry as an undergraduate coursework task. In this particular example, looking at the recovery of the trajectory of the vehicle through the environment, based again on stereo vision imaging. In this example, the trajectory of the vehicle, shown in red and blue on the left-hand side, is recovered algorithmically by the student. And in this particular example, we're examining the use with and without object detection, so the confuser element of dynamic elements in the scene when you're also trying to work out how you are moving through the scene itself. Finally, we also consider research-led dissertation projects. An example from a couple of years ago, looking at how we apply some of the deep learning techniques which we use within our research to the task of automatic fire detection as an extended aspect of the CCTV monitoring with which we started with in this presentation. This work was subsequently published in the scientific literature after the student had completed their project, and also the student then appeared as first author on that publication. Another example considers again the topic of autonomous driving. Here, the automatic recovery of scene flow based on feature matching within the scene. In this particular example, we can see in the video feed at the top, as we transit through the environment, we can recover at the bottom a colour-mapped flow picture of the scene. And this is one of the aspects we can use to actually use a single camera to recover depth information or distance information about the objects in the scene in the same way that we saw earlier in the stereo vision examples. Again, this work was published as a novel contribution in the scientific literature after the project was completed, with again the student appearing as first author. Overall, everything that I've talked about has considered essentially this common aspect of algorithms. And in our team, this algorithms for processing visual information as one aspect of computer science. If you're interested in more detail about the work that we do in the department, or also the options for undergraduate and postgraduate study, then you can look at our departmental website, or potentially you can also connect with us on Twitter.